You can have everything they told you would make you happy and still feel empty. Maybe no one told you this, but it's possible to be at your peak on the outside and falling apart inside. And no, that's not weakness. That's awareness. The truth is, living in the 21st century demands more than productivity and goals. It takes courage to face the silence between one notification and the next. It takes maturity to admit that success, the way they sell it, might just be another distraction. If you're waking up tired of your own life, like every day is a loop of soulless obligations, then take a breath. Because this video won't give you magic answers, but it might help you see why the questions you've been avoiding are actually the start of your freedom. Forget what you think you know about purpose, meaning, and happiness. We're diving into existentialism, psychology, meditation, philosophy, but without the fluff. Real talk, raw, transformative. Because maybe the problem was never the world outside. Maybe it was the way you learned to exist within it. You wake up already exhausted. You check your phone before both eyes are open. Everyone seems to be winning, glowing, achieving. But deep down, something doesn't fit. You feel like you're falling behind, like you're playing a game with no rule book. Social media tells you success equals happiness, but why does it still feel hollow? That feeling? It's not failure. It's your consciousness whispering. A quiet signal that there's more to life than this loop of running and standing still. Modern life is fast, relentless. One moment you're chasing dreams, and the next you wonder if they were ever really yours. Pressure to succeed, to be productive, to become someone. It comes from everywhere. Family, bosses, influencers, total strangers. It's noise. Loud, constant noise. And when you finally stop to breathe, the silence is terrifying. But here's the twist. In that silence, you finally hear yourself. And that's when self-knowledge begins. When the outside chaos fades, the real questions begin to echo. Why am I here? What's the point of all this? These aren't breakdowns. They're breakthroughs. Signs that your soul is done living on autopilot. Most people aren't really living. They're reacting. And the deeper you go, the more urgent the search for meaning becomes. That's why so many are turning to philosophy, spirituality, even ancient practices like meditation, not as trends, but as lifelines. When the outer world loses meaning, the journey inward becomes inevitable. And that's where things start to shift. Imagine waking up and realizing there's no instruction manual for your life. No one's going to tell you exactly who to be, what to do, or what will make you happy. Scary, right? But also freeing. That's where existentialism begins. It's a philosophy that doesn't hand you ready-made answers. It pushes you to face yourself and create your own. Sartre called it being condemned to be free. That means you have to choose. And when you choose, you take responsibility for your existence, for what you build with your own hands. Camus brought another essential concept, the absurd. You know that feeling like nothing really makes sense? That the universe is spinning and no one knows why? That's the absurd. And it doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be faced. Kierkegaard, on the other hand, talked about faith and authenticity, living so truthfully that it feels like stepping off a cliff, but doing it anyway. Existentialism isn't a sad philosophy. It's a slap in the face of passivity. It wakes you up, invites you to dance with doubt instead of running from it. And if everything is a choice, then even avoiding life is a choice. That changes everything. Procrastination isn't just bad luck. That emptiness you feel after following the right path might actually be your craving for authenticity. Existentialism invites you to make peace with uncertainty, to accept that living means reinventing yourself daily. And when you get that, Practices like meditation become more than calming. They become tools for mindfulness, tools for presence, because the only thing that truly belongs to you is your freedom to become. Let's be honest. Life doesn't come with a manual. There's no secret mission waiting to be revealed. No universal purpose everyone's supposed to discover. At first, that might sound depressing. But what if that's exactly what sets you free? Camus talked about this in The Myth of Sisyphus. A man condemned to push a rock uphill forever. Absurd, right? But according to Camus, the key is accepting the absurd and still continuing, with clarity, with courage. When you let go of the obsession for absolute answers, something strange happens. You begin to breathe, literally. The weight of becoming the right someone disappears. You give yourself permission to live in the now, even if tomorrow is uncertain. That's the beginning of real spirituality, not full of dogma, but rooted in the mystery of being. Your consciousness expands when you stop trying to box everything in. And just like that, living becomes an act of rebellion. You don't meditate to reach enlightenment. You meditate to stay whole in the chaos. Of course, this doesn't erase suffering, but it changes your relationship with it. You stop trying to explain everything and start to experience life. Silence stops being a scary void and becomes fertile ground, a place where authenticity grows. Psychology calls this resilience. The ancients called it stoicism. I call it presence. And it all starts the moment you stop running from the absurd and choose to dance with it. Because if nothing has a fixed meaning, you're free to create anything at all. If the world doesn't hand you a ready-made purpose, good. That's your chance to create one. This is what Camus called rebellion, not in anger, but in creation. Making your own meaning is one of the bravest acts there is, and it starts with real self-knowledge. Ask yourself, what truly moves me? What values do I stand for, even when no one's watching? Life isn't about following a script. It's about writing your own lines, one breath at a time. Action gives shape to essence. Thinking, planning, dreaming, that's great. But it's in action that authenticity comes alive. Here's a simple example. If you value freedom, but live in a job that suffocates you, something needs to shift. Tiny decisions like starting a soul-driven side project or learning to say no without guilt, those are revolutions. You don't have to change the whole world, but living so aligned with your truth that the world around you shifts, that's powerful. That's where tools like mindfulness become essential. You observe. You stop judging. You start living. Yes, it takes effort. Creating your own path requires energy, presence, and a bit of madness. But you know what's more exhausting? Living a life that isn't yours. When you reconnect with your inner consciousness, not the character others created for you, everything starts to feel different. Less automatic, more alive. It's not about being perfect, it's about being real. And when you start living with intention, even breakfast feels meaningful. All of this is preparing you for something deeper, facing the void that shows up, even when you're on the right path. Sometimes you'll be on the right path and still feel empty inside. That doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're evolving. The void isn't a system error. It's part of the process. It shows up to test your courage. It's easy to live with meaning when life makes sense. But when everything feels blurry, heavy, uncertain, that's when your consciousness expands. That's when you stop searching for answers and start creating presence. That's where true spirituality is born. Not in promises, but in presence. To exist with courage is to wake up every day and say, even without guarantees, I choose to keep going. It's a quiet pact with yourself, a decision to live, even knowing the world might collapse outside. Stoicism teaches us this. You can't control everything, but you can control your stance. You can be a center of meaning in a collapsing world, a calm in the storm. And for that, you don't need to be special. You just need to show up. Meditation reminds you of this. 1 minute of silence can be louder than 1,000 answers. So next time the void knocks, don't run. Listen. Maybe it's just asking for space so you can be reborn. It's not about finding meaning in everything. It's about creating meaning in what matters. Life won't hand you a manual, but it will hand you chances, moments, opportunities to choose yourself. And if you've made it this far, maybe, just maybe, you're already doing that. Now tell me, what are you going to do with all this? Keep waiting for someone to hand you the meaning of your life, or start building your own. Keep living on autopilot, or take the wheel, even without a clear destination. I get it. It's easier to run, to distract, to stay numb. But what if the discomfort you're avoiding is actually your rebirth? What if the life you're craving only begins when you stop fighting the emptiness? You don't need to leap. Just take a step. A real talk with yourself. A journal. A moment of silence. A book. A walk with no headphones. Small decisions that bring you back to the center of your existence. So tell me, what hit you the hardest in this video? What part felt like it was speaking directly to you? Drop it in the comments. I read everything. And if you want to keep diving into self-knowledge, consciousness, and this journey of courage, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. Because this is just the beginning.